Hello, I'm Dwight Norris of fishernetwork.com, and today we're going to review the Saturn SD488 Inflatable boat. We'll start with the on-vessel review and then move right back here to a more in-depth review afterwards. Stay tuned. So I'm going to take this time to do a quick overview of my Saturn SD488. First of all, I want to say that it's heavy, 150 pounds for the boat, and 90 pounds for the aluminum floor you see down here. The shiny thing with the seats. Really heavy, really bulky. I could fit all the stuff plus all my, extra stuff, all my tubes, all my lures, all my rods, my cooler, I got 2 batteries here. I got this battery and my extra battery is in case I can't make it back because I don't like getting stuck and I ain't paddling. No way. See here, I have this nice little setup with this arm. It is cranked. This attaches to the whoa. So back to the video. Son almost hooked the boat. That's another problem. If you have really sharp hooks, we have some treble hooks and more or less the sorry bugs. Hooks used for worms, those long shanks. If you get them into these like tubes right here, nobody's said that's ever happened, but there's always a possibility. If you hook this thing, even though it's 3 layers thick, you might give a little prick, cause a little bit of pressure, kind of like changing the air pressure, and it might start to bloop, pop out of there like you're being sucked out into space. The next thing you know, you're going down. But I don't want that to happen, so I'm trying to be really, really careful with that, and it's kind of hard to do unless you're not paying attention. So back to the rest of this. I have the this is a Haswing. Oh, how do you do this? A Haswing, a Syrian trolley motor. Sorry, it's 12 volts, 55 amp, and 55 pounds thrust. It draws 50 amps from these motors, so they should last at full power about 2 hours to an hour and a half full blast, which I don't use. I go to level 4 instead of level 5 because it's only a little bit slower, but it's a lot more efficient with the power, and I can still get to where I'm going. Right now we're floating downriver and I need to go up, so I'm just making this quick video about the system. It takes 45 minutes to actually get set up. It's a little cumbersome, especially for one person to get it all done. I'm gonna have to move it a little forward so we stay in the middle, start working back. But it takes a bit of time, and if you don't have, I'd say an hour on each side of your fishing, one, putting it out there and getting out of your house is a pain in the butt too, but it's still a possibility. Rather than not having a boat, I have a boat. So I always have to think about that difference and stop looking at the negatives. I could just be fishing from shore here at one single spot and hoping a fish comes by, but now I can go to a fish. But right now I can't really find too many fish, but I can go to many different places now where there's really no access to go shore fishing, effectively. So everybody owns the water. It's not like in Hawaii where you can walk on any shoreline, any beach, and it's not anybody's property but the state. There's a lot of structure here on the Concord River, but it's kind of hard to work around. It's pretty open. There's some bridges here. You see here, there's a bridge and there's a marina here. Maybe I'll talk to them later, see what's up. Maybe they know what's going on here. Also, what else do I want to talk about with the boat? The transom is pretty strong, pretty thick, and I'm looking forward to hooking on a 25 horsepower 2-stroke on there. I was thinking about putting a 40 horsepower on there, but people were really reluctant and say, hey, I had a 30 horsepower in Cape Cod. It's so wavy there and the current's so strong that you can't even go full blast. At least not on this boat because it's not a V-hull. It's not a hard bottom. So I'm never going to be able to use the horsepower because I might flip the boat. The 25 horsepower will get me rolling over the waves and get me where I need to go fast. And I won't have to worry about carrying around something that weighs almost as much as me. So 25 horsepower should be a much better thing and should only weigh about, I don't know, just over 100 pounds, 110, 150. If you're thinking about this though, this is me at 3 right now. This is level 3. For the guy who was looking, I'm going upriver. And the wind's blowing in my face and I'm trying to make a video and stare at the same time. Here's number 4. It goes, I don't know, I'd say 3 to 4 miles per hour. And level 5 really, see that little jump it gave right there? I'll slow it down. Now, watch the camera. See how it makes me jump a little bit? You can hear the sound going up. It's revving up. It's picking up a lot of water. And we're moving. Seriously. It's good. It's going to get to 5 miles per hour. Almost water is made up to 7 if it's completely flat, no wind. This is good for this motor. If you want to get a stronger motor, I've read some weird thing about how the pounds per thrust doesn't really make you go faster. It's more of a torque thing, acceleration, instead of actual speed. So that's interesting. It'd probably be good, like we got stuck inside of the weeds, and it would probably have been better off chopping that stuff up. Here we are, we're going under the bridge. I'm doing 3 things at the same time. I'm taking a video, I'm driving a boat, and I'm trying to go in a certain direction while not looking at it. Pretty good, pretty fantastic. I'm gonna kick it down to 4 because I want this to last. I really don't want to go to my second battery, but if I do, I'll put the anchor out and make it happen. What else can I say about this boat? The price is great, you know, $16.99 just for the boat, nothing else with it. Motor was $150. Batteries are about 100 each. I went over to the Interstate Battery Plus in Waltham, Massachusetts. Got that. Got 2 of them just because. You can't open the water. Hold on a second. That's all you really need. I got a cart, which is a flatbed cart. It has 4 wheels. It's not a dolly. It's like a dolly that has a flat attachment, and I can put that directly below the transom and drag it on pretty much flat surfaces. Today I had the Bedford boat ramp is actually dirt with rocks, but it actually rolled right down there on a little dolly wheels. The flat ones, they're made for, you know, concrete surfaces, and I got it down there. Because you don't want to drag these boats, but the bottom of it has a rub strake that protects, but the other side in between doesn't. So dragging it up on rocks, and also when you deflate it and roll it up, you don't want those rocks inside either, because they'll slowly grind into the PVC and cause little holes. That's something else to look out for. They come with paddles. I had to use the paddles. Got stuck in some extremely carpet-like hydrilla because my son dropped his hat in the hydrilla. We had to go after it, which means we got extremely tangled. But that was cool. He got his hat back. Also, I highly suggest that you get at least a 5 horsepower gas engine if you want to use this and get to where you want to go. It's really light, and you don't have to have a trolley motor. But I went with this because I know that it will last a long time. I'll need one eventually, even if I do get a gas motor, because I want to have one motor, because I am I have to be space conscious. I can't have several motors downstairs, a 5 horsepower, and a 15 horsepower, and then a 30 horsepower, and my wife's like, Dwight, I don't think we can do this anymore. Can't have those kind of conversations. So, this is it. We're out here fishing, we're moving. I got my phone camera thing, I got my battery here. I got my ice cooler chest. Boom! I got the grapes in there. We got all our fruit. Got the worms in there. Sorry, too close. Got all the rods and reels. Got my anchor over there. See that? So we're back, and hopefully you enjoyed that on vessel review. I went over several things really fast and maybe not in depth. I didn't show all of the boat for, like, you know, large quantities of time. You can see it online right here. There are some other places where you see similar vessels. They all look the same, but these actual vessels aren't that much different. They just get a little longer. They have another chair or seat to actually go on. I don't have all the accessories, but I have the basics. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the boat. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very strong, much stronger than I thought it was, especially on the bottom. I have been dragging it a little, mostly with the rub straight. That's because I'm one man pulling around 250 pounds of very obscure shaped boat with my son, who's only 5 years old. So obviously he can't do with so much. But we got in the water and we're having fun. Just takes a little bit longer. So that's something to think about. So as far as this review goes, I want to start off with one thing first, which I wrote down a list of things to talk about, and that is regulations. When I returned from the Concord River fishing trip, there was a Massachusetts environmental police woman waiting for me, and she was very nice. And she threw the book at me. Well, the book was this. The As you see here, this shows everything that you need to do for certain types of boat. And I come to realize that since I have a 16-foot boat instead of a 14-foot boat, I am in a different class. You know, whoo, upgrade, baby. But that also means I need to do more things. And I found out that I was missing some stuff. And she let me slide by not having my registration number and stuff like actually attached to the side of the boat. It was in the boat, and I had just got it. She was like, "You just got this, didn't you?" And she was cool with it. So, awesome. I'm glad they're out there doing their thing, making sure that everybody's following the rules, everybody's obeying all the environmental stuff, and trying to keep the rivers clean because they've been very bad for a very long time, and everybody needs to help out to make everything better. So there were some things that I was missing. I had all the regular stuff. I had my registration. We had our life vest. We don't have a life vest. Get one of these bad boys. Make sure it's U.S. Coast Guard certified for you, and mandatory for children under age 12. Each person in your boat has to have one. Also, what I forgot was a throwable PDF, a personal fire. I'm not sure what PDF means. Gotta think about it. But basically, it's a square flotation device. And bigger boats, it's usually just the seat, or you can have those little square orange ones with a little piece of rope around it, so you can throw to somebody in case somebody else needs help and you need to throw them a life preserver, like the little rings from the cruise boats. Basically the same thing. You need that for your boat. Also, I need a fire extinguisher. This is mostly because vessels above 16 feet have engines, and those engines catch on fire. This can obviously hold a 40 horsepower engine, and if it catches on fire, I need something to put it out. Otherwise, this whole thing's going down. Remember, it's a big balloon. It's a strong balloon, but it's still a balloon. And if everything catches on fire, hope you can swim. Also, you need a horn, whistle, or a bell. Didn't have that. She suggested that you get one that attaches to your life vest. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get all this stuff on Amazon or something. Also, you need a daytime visual distress signal. She mentioned a flag, but she said most likely you just want to go ahead and get a flare gun. I was like, flare gun? I was like, all right. Apparently there's a cheaper kind and a really expensive kind. So I'm going to find something that meets the, because you need the higher level one to go in the ocean, because obviously you need to be seen from further away, so you need a stronger one. So I'm gonna get the better one once I figure out exactly the right type and get that all squared away. Also, if you plan to fish at night, make sure you get your nighttime visual distress signals, which is the flare gun, and your navigation lights. Apparently I need a boarding ladder too, but she didn't mention that. She didn't mention it. I guess nobody else will mention it either. It's more of like an actual boat kind of thing. So I have a rope. There's a rope, as you see here, that goes around. This is a boat that's actually meant to be used for emergency officials. If you go to the site and see some of the, I think there's pictures here. Scroll down. Or go through our pictures. Yes, here we go. For safety and fire, they actually use this for getting people onto the boat that are really heavy without flipping it. So you lean on one side of the boat and the other person grabs the rope and pulls them onto that side. So that technically is a climbing ladder per safety procedures. Okay. Is there anything else I wanted to say about regulation? No, that's about it. Obey the rules, read this book thoroughly. I didn't get to the back. All the good stuff is in the back. Shouldn't this be in the front? In the front. All the things you need to follow. Just a suggestion. So, let's talk about moving this puppy around. Oh, I wish I would have some of the things to show you. You haven't seen the bag. So let's just move this to the side here. You see this thing? That's the boat. So I'm sitting down, it's at my head height. So this is like 5 feet. It's about 6, it's almost 6 feet tall. It's like 5.5, 6 feet tall. And you can see here, the bag isn't like a contained bag. It has basically there's a square, and on each side of the square there's a flap. And then that flap rolls over, and it has the double ring. You fold it in and pull it back to the other side, and you tighten it. So a cinch knot or something. A cinch that's basically based on tension. So it'll stay closed, but if you shake it enough, it'll come loose. It's not like the old crank knot where you tie stuff down on top of your roofs. If you want that, you should go to Home Depot and get one of those. Especially if you plan to put it on your roof, which I may have to do if I plan to get a gas motor, because I can't put any more things in my SUV. I have a Honda Pilot, and it's tapped out. You put all this stuff on there, the floor, all that required equipment, and my fishing stuff, and all my coolers and stuff, and you're out of room. So eventually this puppy has to go on the roof. So that's something to think about. So yeah. No reason to see all the junk in my house. Also, there's the floor. I'm gonna show you all this before I talk about the problems. So I should have brought this over. I'm just gonna go get it now. Hold on. So we're back. I have the number 4 floorboard here. As you can see, this is it's pretty big. There's a number 4. There's out of 5. The aluminum. Is it just the aluminums? The aluminum start at 2. There's 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the number 1 is the front 2 marine boards, which are both curved. One's a triangle shape almost, with a hole in the center for the keel. And then right behind that is a semi-slanted one. I forgot what angle that is. If you know your geometry, please comment down below and tell me what that is. And that is, those two together are what goes in the front and makes the shape of the front of the boat. After that, you got these nice rectangular shaped aluminum floorboards, which are very strong and allow the rigidity for you to go from having a max horsepower, a gas engine of 30 horsepower, which is for the weight of a max weight of 175 on the Transom. You can only do that. You could do that with a 4-stroke, barely. But if you have one of these, you can get a 40 horsepower. But because of how much the Transom can only hold, which is 175, you would absolutely have to make that a 2-stroke, which honestly is probably better because there's all kinds of problems with maintenance and breakdowns with 4-strokes, no matter how smooth they run. It's always a negative to everything. But for this, you see here it has a nice little grippy. It has very small lines through here that are kind of shaved through the floorboards, which gives you some grip when you're walking around. You don't have to worry about slipping too much. We were on tennis shoes. I didn't slip one time. There was some water in here. There's some water about on the boat because we're splashing, we're throwing stuff over, we're messing around, and you don't see it, and it goes to the back of the boat. And if you're moving with a gas engine, you can pop that puppy open, and it's a one-way valve, and it goes out and doesn't come in. But for this floorboard, all of them together weigh 89 pounds. And then the boat weighs 145 pounds. So that's 250 pounds once you get it all together. And if you don't have those transom wheels attached, I don't want to drill a hole in my transom. So I'm looking at some boat wheels and that aren't. They're clamp-on ones, which I think everybody should make. But right now they're only available in some of the country. It'll take about a month to get here, and I'm like, why can't I make these things? And maybe I will. But one thing to worry about is they use FedEx, and FedEx dropped mine on the corner. I'm not sure if this is one of the ones that is bent, but they dropped it in the corner and it crimpled the edge, and also the shock of it rocked out one of the it's on the other side, one of the rivets in the aluminum floor, which I can't notice any difference. Except, oh, do you hear that sound? That's my rivet rolling around inside of the aluminum floor. But you can always replace it yourself. Use a little, they stated that I can just put a screw in here that doesn't go through to the other side, because the other side's flat and it lays up against the keel and the bottom of the boat, and you don't want to rip the bottom of the boat because you'll have a leak. Not cool. But for right now, I'm only missing this one rivet, and it's rolling around inside of here somewhere. You can't really put it back. But this keeps this edge attached to the floor, and this goes. So there's a little rubber slip that's black just under the tubes, and they all slide together under this. And connecting to this, which keeps this thing touching, this part right here, touching the bottom of the tubes, is this thing. And it goes in, as you see here, it's a triangle shape. And these little things fall out all the time. So make sure every time you take a minute and take them out that they all have this thing in there. I would actually suggest super gluing it. That's what I'm going to do. Because they kept falling out. Right here, you want this triangle side to go just like this, and it falls right into place. Look at that. And you put it right over the edge so that it's half and half. And this gives it the rigidity between the two floorboards, and allows it to become strong enough to handle big motors, and it keeps it flat, and it keeps it from doing the what's it called? This looks weird. Cavitation. And that's where the boat starts to flex under you, and it feels like you're riding in a waterbed. Not good. Not good at all. So make sure you have these installed. Don't do them parallel like this. That's not going to do anything for you. They have a crossover just like this, and it doesn't go all the way to the back. Like number 5 would be to the back, and you think you have to push it all the way back, but it'll end up like this and not actually giving you any support. So put it a couple inches up, have it like this, and make it strong. No problems. Also, man, this thing is huge. Just move this back now that I've talked about that. Here is your seat. It does those little handles, which looks like things that you want to grab onto, are actually for these little hooks. You see right here? Those little hooks that grab onto, and when you fill it up, it actually expands and it grabs it. And you think that it's supposed to be like really tight and like not able to move at all, but you can almost pull the seat out when it's fully pumped. Like when you let the electric pump, which I highly recommend. Do not hand pump this thing at all. It'll take forever. But when you do that, you think that it's going to be super tight, but it doesn't. You can almost pull this out. So when I sat down, it was tight as tight can be. There was no rocking or moving or anything. But when you're not in it, it looks raised, like it could actually come out. But it worked perfectly fine. So I don't have any complaints. I would think maybe if you're on the ocean or somewhere really bouncy, you would need a cushion for this, and that's a good place to maybe use that throwable PDF and just sit on it. Or Boats to Go actually has a under seat cushion right here, where you can store your stuff, get your water bottle, get your cleaning fluids, you can put your registration in here or whatever else, your lures, I don't know. You can get, on this boat you can get 3 of them if you want to, and it has the seat there that goes perfectly for this, and you're good. I think they also give you an option of how to do it yourself, but you can explore yourself. So let's touch this thing. So about the movement, let's start with how you move this thing. Now you saw the boat, you've seen the batteries in the previous video, the Newport vessel um, battery box. Also, I don't think I showed you the other battery box, which is the same thing, just about all the gizmos. I have two of them. You saw them in the previous video, that was two of this. And I have all that other stuff you know I need, along with the coolers and the other people on the boat. And you have to, and if you're like me, you don't have it on a trailer. It's not always blown up. It's like this. And let's just say it's a lot to move around. So I had this in my basement. I have, what is it? I think it's six floorboards lined up. I have the oars. I have the three seats. I have six of those little connector things sitting in the next place. I have all that stuff piled back here in the corner. It isn't actually that much, space saving. The thing that takes up the most space are the paddles and the seats and the floor and the boat. Four things. That's a real space taker. After that, it's like the two batteries. And everything else just kind of slides in there. There's a cart, that it's flat, not a problem. But I'm in the basement right now, which is where most people have room in their house and they store their stuff. They don't want to be seen very often, and you have to pull up a flight of stairs. And my flight of stairs gets contracted because we have stuff behind it, and you can barely slide through. So I pull it upstairs, and by the time I finish doing that, I'm sweating, and I have to flip it end over end until I can get out the door, and then I can just give the big old bear hug. I'm kind of strong, I guess. I'm 6'7", so if the boat looked a little smaller than you thought it was, it's because I'm huge. After that, I can put it on the car and roll it down to the car. You may have a different environment. Maybe you have a garage. It's so much easier if you have a garage. You can just take it from the garage, put it on your car. No upstairs, no downstairs, no real lifting to do. You don't have to roll it, and it's not a problem. You can roll it up like this and save a lot of space. Deflating it is not a problem. So once you do that, you get it in the car and you have all your stuff. Now I'm gonna say the way I do it, and every other way to do it is easier. If it was in a pickup truck, it'd be easier. If it was blown up, it would be easier. If you had a garage, it would be easier. If you had two people, it would be easier. But for me, I have to do that. I have to take it upstairs. I have to move it all out of the house. I have to put it in the car perfectly, no doubt, until I can figure out a way to put it on the roof for a leased car, which doesn't have a roof rack, unfortunately, and doesn't have a hitch. That's pretty dumb. Should have the upgraded model for a lease. I should really think about that. And I'm sure there's ways around it. Then once you get to where you're going, there's a whole other process. You start off by taking the boat, you put it out, you roll it out fully, and then you pump it up to around 25 to 30% on each of the tubes. Now the difference between this boat and Mini is because the orange part actually has 5 chambers. Pretty much every other boat there is, unless it's the higher level ones, the several $1,000 ones, like 3 to 8, have only 3 chambers. The sides and the front. Here, there's 2 on each side, and then the front is a whole compartment too, and then everybody has a count. There's an inflatable keel on the bottom because it's not a rib, i.e. a hard bottom boat. Excuse me. So 6 places to blow it up first. Now you don't need to inflate the keel before you do the floor. That would be not good. So don't inflate the keel until you do the floor. You have to do 30% on the 5 chambers for just this boat, and the 18-foot if you want to go really big. And so getting in is not that bad. There's the back, which is the hardest. If you look, there's some people online that show how they install their floors. You should do exactly what they do. The number 5, which goes in the back and it goes under the transom. I found that the second time, if you leave any kind of water in there, the part where you saw the side guides with that signing that the longer piece of metal that went out that actually goes into the groove all the way from front to back. And once it gets wet, the second time you open it, they stick together. And you have to like pull it apart, and it kind of peels like it's like sticky. And then when you put the aluminum floor in there, it doesn't want to slide as easy as it did the first time, and it's dry. I'm like, oh, now I'm like kind of giving it the knee, and I'm pushing one side and I'm pushing the other side. It's like an old window, or you know, when you switch from having your storm windows up and you have to pull that pin in and jam it up, and you're wondering if you're gonna break the window, and then you have to pull the bug screen down, and it's doing the same freaking thing, and you're about to break off your freaking fingers trying to do that. It's not that hard, but it gets a little frustrating. But once you get in, I think it took me like I don't know, 2 minutes to get it right, because I'm really worried about cutting the boat because it's inflatable. I'm being overly cautious, which takes time too. After that, there's the part where the number 4, which I just had, and number 3 are going to fold up like this, and then you're going to push it down. And while you do that, you need to pull up the sides so that it doesn't like crimp them. And it might actually do that. It's not really a problem. It's a problem if it gets in between where it connects. If it gets on the sides and the side flattens them, it's fine. Just pull it up a little and then pull it out, and then push it down and go to the other side. Pull out the whatever the obstruction is, whether it's a tube or you left the valve cover under it, and now the valve cover is stuck under the aluminum floor, which I did many times. My mistake. Pull that out, flatten down, it's flat. And then once you get it flat, you'll notice something interesting. It's not like super tight. There's a room to play a little bit to the side, about an inch or so on each side, and the same thing with the front. It goes in like it's going to be super tight, but once you actually get it down, it's loose. But it's fine because it's not pumped up all the way. And then you complete the pump. You go to each valve and you let this highly suggested inflate pump that they sell, pump it up. It has the kPAs. For this one, you pump the tubes up on the side to 20 kPa. See here, there's a focus. You pull up to 20 kPa for the sides, and the keel is 30 kPa, and then it's really fast. Each chamber should pump up in several minutes from that point. You just go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and then you do the keel, and then you're done. You throw all your junk in, and then you figure out how you want to get it to the water. Whether you have the transom wheels, you drill them on, and you're ready to go. Boom, super easy, one-man job. You're all golden. But if you don't, there's a cart that I got. I should really show that too. And if you put it under the transom, first I did it without the trolley motor on, and I left the handle up which you push it with, and I let my son push that in, and it worked like a charm. At the Congo River, I put it down so it's just one solid cart, and I laid that on top of the cart and just pulled it, and it pulled right along with it. It hit a rock, came loose for a second, but I pushed it back a couple inches and then pulled again and went right down there over the rocks, over the dirt, no problem. These are wheels made for a concrete floor. So let me get that so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Because a lot of people suggest that you get a dolly, and that's cool for carrying a motor on it if you want to attach it, or carrying out your heavy batteries, or slapping the old boat bag around. But once you want to pull it in a boat and you don't have those transom wheels, and you don't want to drill a hole in your transom because it seems odd, this is another option. I'll be right back. So this is my cart. Doesn't look so bad, isn't it? It's all 3 feet long, 2 feet across. Here's this is the handle. You see here? See how flat it is? I actually laid it right on top of this, and it laid right on the transom was laying right here, and the rest of the boat was going this way. So I didn't want it laying over this metal part, even though it doesn't matter either. And this thing rolled right along. Look at the wheels. These are just dolly wheels. Nothing special. This one is fixed. It rolls straight. And the back one, the ones near the back, are where you pivot. Not a problem. And right here is the handle that goes up. Locks into place. Really easy. And then you just step on this and it drops down. It comes, in a package just like this, but without the wheels attached. You just screw them right on with a bolt and you're done. And I really thought that this would just be a thing that I would carry my stuff with. I would maybe put a gas engine on it, carry the trolley motor, carrying the batteries, carrying the aluminum floor, carrying the boat. But it's also been a great set of transom wheels. I mean, it's getting the job done. I'm shocked. I thought about getting those ones from, I think it's Ukraine on eBay, the no drill transom wheels. If you search that on eBay, you'll see that. I'll put up a link or something to show you that. That's another option. But right here, $35, got it done all by myself. If you're older and you're tired, you have a friend, use help if you can. Get your buddy to help you out. It'll be so much easier and so much faster. And if you have two pumps, do that too. But yeah, once it's in order, it's really just a reverse. You pull it out, you use that cart, you pull it out of the water sideways, you put it in the cart, you get in the water, and you turn it around and you just push it right out, just like that, just the way you came in, right in the cart, right back to the car. You lay out the bag or some kind of cloth, because you don't want to lay it on the dirt and the rocks get attached to the motor, get attached to the boat, and then you roll up rocks and dirt and whatever else into the bag. Don't do that. You want to have a clean boat bottom. Also, you don't want it, when you're twisting around to get it just right and rolling up, you don't want it actually rubbing against the rocks or whatever surface, or even sand. Really, they said sand's bad too. You want to get it all out of there. Even if you don't, if you have absolutely no choice, just do the best you can. Get a towel or a rag, and while you're rolling it, after you deflate it says pushing the button, goes down within, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. It's splat. I've never seen anything deflate that well before, like completely. Usually it like holds air in a corner. You have to like squeeze and roll, and you get a little bit of air out when you roll it, but a lot of it just comes out. It's pretty amazing. That's one feature I like to highlight. That's very good. You fold it exactly the way it says to on this website. I believe there's an FAQ here, and the FAQ has, there's a tons of questions in here, and one of them is how to inflate, how to deflate, and they're absolutely correct on everything. They know what they're talking about. These are usually customer-generated questions, and sometimes they're customer-generated answers as well, because they're better than what the person who originally wrote it thought. So yeah, once you do that, roll it up, make sure it's clean, and if it's not clean, make sure you get it clean at your house. I did that recently. I went from Concord. I got a little bit of water in there, a few pebbles. I went back over it. It was a nice hot day. I rolled it out, cleaned it off, not a problem. Rolled it back up into the bag, and we were done. Reverse everything. If you don't have to do all the things I do, cool. So obviously this is a long review. You don't have to look at all this, but you can skip through and get all the information that you want from it. Also, it might be better to read this through the blog, because I'll have everything sectioned off by titles. So as I said before, movement, it's heavy, it's cumbersome, it takes up space. This is the space it takes up, and it takes up time. It takes, oh yeah, I didn't talk about that, did I? To get it out there. Once you get it out there, it's like 40 minutes. It's like 30-40 minutes. with all this stuff and the way I do it, it takes that long. If you don't need to deflate it, you're saving tons of time. If you don't need to, you know, play Legos to get it into your car or whatever else, it saves time. If you don't have to have it in your basement deflated, it saves time. I don't know if there's a more time use. A, what's the word I want to use? Is there a situation worse than mine? I'm not sure. I have one of the worst, which is good because, you know, I have the worst case scenario. And many people have this scenario as well. People live in apartments and they don't have a place to store their boat blown up or anything. So they have to do exactly what I have to do. And they might even not even have a car. So that's something else. Maybe that's the worst case scenario. Then I would say maybe you should just rent a boat. Yes, that's inflation and setup time. It says 45 minutes for this boat, so it's not inaccurate. I can get it down to 30. If I didn't have those mosquitoes on me, I got the floor in really fast. Probably because the mosquitoes were on me. But it could have been faster. It was raining too. I got tons of excuses. What's next? Yes, recommendations. Get a pickup truck. I'd love to get one. Get some roof rails so you can put your boat on top of the car instead of in the car and take up all the space. Then you can get your outboard engine in there as well, so you don't have to go as slow as me. Great suggestion. Have a friend help you. Go fishing with a friend. Go fishing with lots of friends. It'll make things go faster. Get transom wheels. That will help with getting it in the water and safely and out safely and keeping it, and also carry maybe a piece of cloth that's bigger than the bag here so that when you lay it down, the boat doesn't get dirty. So you don't have to worry about constantly cleaning and wiping it off. You do have to wipe off the inside, which may have water in it and a little bit of dirt, but it's not so bad. Unless, I don't know what you do out in the water. Maybe you're going in and out of the boat, you're stepping into muck and mud, and then you're stepping back in the boat. That might happen. And, you know, don't store it in your basement if you don't have to. Keep it blown up, but keep it out of the sun. This is PVC. It's hand glued seams. They last a good amount of time, but PVC hand glued seams are known to go out in, you know, 3 to 5 years. If they're left out in the sun, you're going to get a leak. Don't do that. Keep it out of the sun. Get a boat cover, put it in the garage, or deflate it and put it down in your basement and someplace where it's dry. You have to dry it before you roll it up because you don't want mold to grow on your boat. Mold will also destroy it. That happens during the winter when you don't use it much, or when you just decide not to go fishing for a while. But hey, we're fishing at work, baby. We're fishing all the time. And on the weekends, we're going to get that done too. So make sure you roll this puppy out. If you have, you know, 12 to 15 feet floor space, someplace in your house, hopefully exactly where your boat is, and you're unsure if you dried it out or you're worried, just roll it on out. Take a quick look. Look under the look inside the boat. Look under the keel, inflatable section. Just a little tube going down the bottom. Make sure there's nothing growing there. Make sure it's dry. Make sure there's no rocks and stuff rolling around. And just keep it clean, man. Most PVCs, if you do that, your boat's going to last 10 years. That's what I keep hearing. It's going to last 10 or so years. 10 or so years? Good. I'll have something bigger then. I'll have a bigger house. I'll have a bigger car, a pickup truck. I'll have a boat that has, you know, a fiberglass bottom. And I'll have space to put it outside, or, you know, I don't know, who knows? I'll have a bigger boat, that's for sure. I want to go ocean fishing more reliably. I'll be doing it with this though until that happens. I'm gonna get it decked out and it's gonna work. So that's something else we should stay tuned to. I believe that is the near the end of this review. It's part of the progress. Let's go over here. You need your anchor here as well. This is a 50-foot line. Came off Amazon. It was like 15 bucks. This anchor is 10 pounds. It's the old, it's a pretty standard one. I saw many people on the river using the exact same thing, and it drains water, and it also gets a good dig on the ground. You're not going to go anywhere. Plus, 50 feet is pretty deep for a river. If you go into the ocean, you should just float because the current's too strong, and you don't want to pull that thing under, messing around with an anchor. So yeah, the anchor is like 15.22. It's cheap. The boat comes with a pump, a hand pump. You know, as you see, it's still in the plastic. The sup pump, you can see that, has the vector hose in case you need an extra one. You break your one in your other one. Also, it has a little gauge here, which tells you the. Actually, I never even looked. This KP is. It actually tells you the PSI, and you can get the PSI equivalent. Well, Google this, PSI / KPA, tell you the difference. And that's it. This should never come out of the plastic bag. This is an emergency device. If you need a pump, it's because you have a slow leak in your boat, and you don't have the electric on you, and can't just plug it in and fix it and just keep it pumped while you run to shore before the whole thing deflates. You can use this thing too. And also, if you're taking on water, especially with this boat, it's in that second class. It's suggested, but she said it wasn't required. You need a bailing device, like a cup. It could be anything. I said I had like a juice bottle or something. I can use that for bailing. That's all you need. But you can get a device like this pump, a small one, and it's like well, sometimes we pump it, and the water comes out the side of the boat. You can get, obviously with a hose, you can get it deep into the grooves of the boat and get more of the water out. But it's not required. Let's get a paper cup or something. Plastic cup. Bring a drink. Your water bottle should suffice. And that's the end of this review of the Saturn SD488 inflatable boat. I hope that the viewer that wanted to see this is happy with this review and they got to see what they wanted to see before they bought this boat. I think it's a great purchase. The price is ridiculously good, and you really can't go wrong with the price. Something goes wrong years down the line, it's not going to hurt you that bad. If you get a really expensive boat, which have expensive problems, and you can't afford them, then your really expensive boat is going to sit there because you can't fix the problems. But if you have money, cool, awesome, spend however much you want and get the best you can. But if you need to get out in the water, you need to do it inexpensively, and you want something that's to the equivalent of other things or better, like there's a bunch of brands out there that are equivalent to this. This comes from Korea. Make sure you get the Korean made one, which is, I'll show you a difference here. Right here, Saturn inflatable boats. This line, the S, this line right here is the Korean made ones, and it's thicker. It has extra levels of support. It has the more rub strips. It has the extra support pads, and it's actually glued better. The actual manufacturing process is done better by Koreans than most of the Chinese factories. There are Chinese factories that do a good job, but overall, they aren't regulated very well sometimes. So it may vary. Holy smokes, something has changed. Something has changed. This used to be the highest level of the lower grade boats. Let's go over this real quick. It's 13.5. This is the cheaper version. I'll show you why right here. It doesn't have the bottom here that protects it. This is a little slip right here. The rub strake is weaker, and it's also, the rub strake is not as thick around. If you go to this one, which is the one I have, and you've seen that it has this super thick rub strake, and the whole bottom is like this, and this is a actual extra layer of PVC all on the bottom of the tubes, absolutely necessary if you plan to even think about dragging your boat on something. Now, as you can see here, this used to be the biggest. It was a 13 and a half footer, and then there was an 11 footer, and then there was a 9 footer, but they've gotten rid of that, and now there's bigger ones. There's a 15 of the lower level. See, no protection down there, not good, don't like that. And there's a 16 footer called the 500. This just got here, but it's already out of stock. But this just got here. I looked at this, I don't know, a month or so ago, and this was not here. Obviously, I looked at it a month or so ago. That's when I got my boat. See, right there, new Saturn SD488 Inflatable. This is brand new stuff coming out. They're already, you know, trying to do something for the cheaper crowd. This is obviously a cheaper one. This is $500 cheaper than my 16 foot, but it doesn't have the protections. It has aluminum floor. It has, wow, even more floorboards. They're a little shorter, and just no great protection. Anyway, this is for another day. I'm not getting every single boat there is. The one I have, I believe it's one of the best because, one, it has the five chambers, just in case you pop one. You don't have to worry about going down. Very, very good thing when you're out on the ocean. Two, it has the protections on the bottom under the tubes. It has the super thick rub strake. It has the rope that goes all the way around, which is great in case you somehow fall out and you need to get back in. It has aluminum floors, which a lot of them are being upgraded to aluminum floors now because it's not that expensive to do that. And, well, it's orange because I want to be seen in case the motor, which is not part of the boat, doesn't work. And I'm going to have my flare going, but I want people to see the boat. This thing looks like the ocean. I don't want to disappear into the sunset. I want to be found. Stay outside of shipping lanes unless you want to be seen. So that's it. If you have any questions, have any comments, anything else you want to learn, maybe extra video footage you want shot, please comment down below or go to the website fishnetwork.com and email me there. You know, do all the socials. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Pinterest too, and on Facebook. You can talk to me there, and you know, anything you want to know. There will be a lot more reviews out. I might go through some of these things individually just to talk more in depth about them, but I have some other reviews I want to do of lures, of other devices like the trolling motor, and I already did the battery, and you know, there'll be great things to come. And also, I'll be doing more fishing locally while at work, and also on the boat at different places nearby. So if you're a local fisherman and you want to know what's happening, I'm going to be out there and I'm going to be fishing these places and figuring out whether they're good or they're not. So thanks for watching. And thanks for sticking around. It's been like an hour. You are a real go-getter and I really appreciate you watching. So thank you and good night.